Tourism is just barely holding its own.
This is one of the most underserved healthcare populations in the entire country.
Unemployment is at an awful level.
We've seen hunger increase.
Foreclosures are at an awful level.
The problem is lack of representation, lack of caring.
They're not working together.
I believe that in Washington right now, it's chaos.
We need somebody who lives here, who knows this area, and who's willing to fight for us. We need to change the status quo.
It reminds me of that old expression, is there a doctor in the house?
We need a doctor in the house.
We need a doctor in the house.
You've been gone for so long, I'm running out of time. I need a doctor, call me a doctor. I need a doctor to bring me back to life.
I see a Congress that is dysfunctional. I see a Congress that cannot make decisions during a time of America's peril. I see too much gridlock. I see too much infighting. The hopes and aspirations of everyday Americans are at the verge of extinction. And so that's why I'm running for Congress. When I was 17 years old, my father, who didn't know how he was going to pay for 2 sons in college, had a talk with me. I wanted to show him that I would never give up on my dream to be a physician and to come back to this community. So I put on the only suit that I owned, the suit I wore to church. I remember borrowing a briefcase so I could look as professional as possible and walking the streets of the Coachella Valley. And I would go up to the business owners or the clerk and I would say that I'm offering you the opportunity to invest in your community by investing in my education, because I promise that I will return as a physician and serve the community.
Raul is thoroughly committed to public service.
From the time he was 18, he's had a commitment to the community.
I developed a strong mission in my life, and that mission has always been to serve others, has always been to figure out ways how we can improve the classroom, our communities, the desert.
He started a healthcare initiative to try to help poor people who don't have enough health care in the Valley.
I've started a pre-med mentorship program called the Future Physician Leaders, where we mentor now over 80 of our brightest youth who are aspiring to become physicians and community advocates.
I'm one of the dozens of students that he has helped to get into medical school. The most important thing that Dr. Ruiz has taught me is service. He sent out an email once that said, in order to lead, you must serve. And I've seen that he always wants to serve the community.
About 2 years ago, I had a heart attack and went into the emergency room by ambulance. Dr. Ruiz was the doctor in charge, and I'm sure that's what saved my life. I had total confidence that he was going to take care of me.
Dr. Ruiz is the perfect candidate for us. He's from our area. He knows our problems. He knows our situations.
He is a person who cares about his community and cares about health, cares about education, cares about jobs for the people here in this community.
Dr. Ruiz understands Medicare and the seniors' needs for it.
When there's a crisis, he's definitely the guy you want around.
Most of the time, we don't have anybody that represents us in this area. We have somebody who's usually out of town or far away or involved in other things.
She never has community meetings, so she's never out there talking to people to find out what it's really like. Having a genuine public servant as a member of Congress, I think, would bring a lot of the hope back to this valley that the problems we see here can be changed.
He is a great leader. He's able to organize a team.
And when he makes a commitment to help the people in this community in the U.S. Congress, he'll do that.
We need a doctor in the house.
The Coachella Valley can certainly use a doctor in the house.
I want to change the way Washington does business, the way they conduct themselves, the way they problem solve. You see, I'm an emergency room physician. By training, I problem solve, I make critical decisions, and I find solutions to the most complex problems that come. We are not each other's enemies. Our enemy is the unemployment rate. Our enemy is the uninsured rates for our elders. Our enemy is the high school dropout rate. As a physician, I put people first. As a congressperson, I intend to do the same. I believe that we can create jobs with livable wages. I believe that we can protect Social Security and the promise for our senior citizens. I believe our youth can get a college education. And I believe that every resident in our community can have healthcare access and be able to afford medical care.
We need people to get behind Raul. We need people to give when they can, give as often as they can, give as much as they can.
We can be one community, affluent, indigent, east, west, elder, youth, gay, straight.
You can make phone calls for him. You can have a house party for him.
This is where I grew up. This is my home. This is the community that bred that desire, that mission to serve.
Volunteer at his office, stuff envelopes, make phone calls, do whatever you can to help him get elected.
Just as I did when I was 17 years old, going door to door in that hot summer, asking business owners to invest in their community by investing in my education, I'm asking you to invest in your community by investing in this campaign.
We need a doctor in the house.
We need a doctor in the house.
We need a doctor in the house.
We do need a doctor in the house.
The bottom line is we need Dr. Ruiz in the house.